All right, there we go. There we go. All set up. So, first off, congratulations on the belt, mate.
Cheers. Thanks for letting me know. It's good, boss.
How's your life been going since you got the belt?
Same, basically.
Winning,
Like,
nothing
to be honest,
changed.
it would they called me about 4 days later, so I went off on holidays. I was skiing for about a week and a half after, which was class. But about 4 days into that trip, I got a call, and they were like, "Do you want to fight for a second belt?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, go on." So it's that's been the focus since then, to be honest. So it's just like life feels the same because you're just training for another belt. So I was training for a belt. I had about 4 days where I was celebrating, and now I'm back and I'm training for another fucking fight for a title. So, like, that's why it's been the same, you know?
Yeah, so, is that what you meant by the big plans in your last post-fight speech? That you wanted
Yeah.
the next belt? Yeah,
Yeah, well, like, I actually thought I was going to come at middleweight, to be honest. So I felt like if I was going to, make something big happen, that I'd have to move down to middleweight. And then, I knew that the Tadef and Moel thing had happened before that, and that the belt was vacant. But I didn't think that they had plans for me to fight for that. And then once they offered it, I was like, yeah, class.
nice. So, what was it like getting your hands on that light heavyweight title?
It was good. It was more like the buzz of that fight in Prague that night was class. Like the atmosphere was unbelievable. There was, there was a lot of build up to it, and they're like, I was amazed how much support Carlos has there, to be honest, because like I couldn't believe how emotional the crowd were. It was cool. Like you could tell it meant something to everybody. And obviously it meant a shitload to me. Like it was a big fight for my career as well. But it was cool that it was a huge event overall. And like, anytime he got any bit of an in the fight, the crowd were going crazy. So it was a class buzz. I really enjoyed the whole night, and like the event and everything around it was cool. So yeah, it was. It was fun. Like
Yeah, I was meant to be there. I wish I got to go now. It
yeah, it
looked
was. It
really
was
good.
like it was a good atmosphere, man. It was really good, actually. Yeah,
Yeah. So, it was a tough fight, but you had a
it was.
dominant performance. So,
Yeah.
did it go the way that you expected it was going to go?
No, I honestly thought I could knock him out. Like, and not to be too kind of. I wasn't being complacent. Like I'd done all the conditioning, and I think that showed. But I was like, look, you're gonna go and knock this lad out. In my like deepest heart, I felt like you have the ability. Once you hit this guy proper, he's gonna go down. And it took a while because he was keeping his head very low and he was kind of burying his head down. And I missed a few times, but I connected with a few uppercuts and a few hooks in that first round. And I felt like, oh, I have him wobbled now. And if I'd been a bit more tactical, like I felt in the first round, if I'd just been a bit more tactical and kept my distance more, I could have finished him. So when I got my chance in the third round, I was like, right, go. And I hit him with fucking everything. Like all of the shots that I had, and a couple of them missed, but a lot of them landed and a lot of shots that I would have been like, yeah, they're kill shots. You land that, it's over. And he took them and then he took a knee and he just fucking, I don't know how he stayed taking shit, man, but like, I felt like I'd finish him. So that wasn't the way I thought it would go. Like, I knew at some point I'm going to catch him. And I thought once I catch him, it's going to be over. But fuck, he has some chain in fairness to him. So like, hats off to the guy. He's like he showed huge heart even a few times. Like I hit him in the body a few times as well, hard. Like I don't care. Like I thought like his neck is thick and he's got like big shoulders. So yeah, maybe the muscle takes some of that impact out of the chin. But like you get hit in the body like that, I don't care who you are, you fucking feel that. And he definitely felt them. So fair play to him for staying going. And I know like as much as he didn't go down, I know he was fucking hurt a lot and he plowed on. So big respect to the guy. But yeah, like I was dominant throughout the fight and I was proud of that. But I did think I could finish him and I didn't. So that did surprise me.
Yeah, I thought you had him in the third when he was like covering up on the fence when he took the
Yeah,
knee. You
yeah.
like punched him in the head.
But it
I
was
thought
like,
he was
man,
done.
I've gone back, I've watched it a load of times. There was a good like 25 hard shots before that. So like as soon as we broke in that round, I landed like a 1-1-2. And the two in that was a good snap. And then like he started trying to like follow me and I landed a big left hook to the side of his temple. And that wobbled him. And then he went back up and like so then I was kind of stalking him a little bit and he went back to the cage. And I landed a load of shots on the cage. And then eventually, so I kind of like I grabbed his hip and was whacking the side of his hip. And that's like, then we broke after that. It looked like at one stage the ref was going to step in and stop it while I was holding his hip and just hitting the side of his head because he was kind of just shelling up and not really replying. And he was eating a good, like they were hard enough shots and he was eating them. And then I broke off and he dipped down into that knee. So like But that knee was after all of that shit, like, and he still took it, you know. So, like, it's crazy. Yeah, I can't believe the damage he was able to absorb. Like,
Yeah. There's something else that you did that was like really surprising to me. It was when you got him onto the fence, and I thought you were going to shoot for a double leg, but you actually shot for an ankle pick in the first. And I've never
yeah,
seen anyone do that before. Like that was so creative to me.
it's weird. It's like it's funny, but the way it worked out, it was Paul Ivans who was in Carlos's corner who taught me that technique in London about 10 years ago. So like his corner man showed me that. So I thought his defense for it would be a lot better because obviously that's the technique Paul's pretty good at. Like so like I have a whole sequence that I can go to where there's like a bunch of steps to that thing. And once he defended the first step, but every other time it was like step one worked. So I was like, Jesus man, I thought you'd be better at defending this one. Like but I love that ankle pick, like, and there's a load of little tips, like I have a load of tricks for it. Like Chris Jocko's the only guy I've ever fought that was able to stop that once I get there. Like
Yeah. And he had you in a guillotine in round three that looked quite bad. Did you feel
no,
like you were in any danger?
nah, genuinely, like, and I'm not just saying it for sake, but like, none of there was one in the second round where if he had like he jumped the guillotine as I was getting up, which was good timing, but he just his back slipped off a little bit. That one could have been dangerous because I was in full guard for that. All the others I was in half guard top, like, so like I had to, I could fucking put the shoulder in and I was okay. I had space for my neck, like. Now, in fairness, his squeeze was ridiculous. Like the way he was squeezing my head, I was like, Jesus Christ, if he got full guard and he was able to like put a bit of leverage on this, you'd be in serious trouble here. But no, I was never in a position where he could finish it properly. Like,
Yeah. So you're moving up to heavyweight the title. You're moving up to heavyweight the challenge for the vacant title.
yeah,
So should you be successful, do you think you're going to stay at heavyweight or do you think you're going to move back down?
I think I can bounce between the two because, like, I'll be honest, I've gained very little weight for this. So I'm normally walking around at about 105, 106 kilo. I was 105 kilo on the scales this morning. Um, and now I got a bit lighter coming up to the Carlos fight just because I thought I was going to go down to middleweight after. But this is the weight that I normally would be. If I was 3 weeks out from a light heavyweight fight, I'd be the same weight right now. So to me, I don't plan on putting on a whole lot of weight in the next couple of weeks. And I don't see why I couldn't fight light heavy or heavyweight, wherever the belt needs to be defended. Like I feel like right now I can bounce between the two, and once there's a legit challenger in one, I can go and face that guy.
Do you think you could get down to middleweight still, or do you think that extra weight might
It would
just
take a
keep you between
while.
the two?
Like this is the thing. Like it would be fucking special to do it three belts, you know.
Yeah.
But they'd need to give me a good 4 or 5 months. And again, like obviously, if I get down to middleweight, I'm not going to be defending the heavyweight belt anytime soon, you
No.
know. So
Yeah.
like, I do think it's possible. I just think it has to be like the right opportunity, and like there has to be the right incentive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also like it's gonna delay things a lot. And I don't want to be somebody who's clogging up a load of divisions, but I would fucking love to have that three belt thing. You know, being a
Yeah.
triple champ, and especially like, look, the gap from middle to light heavy is a big gap. That's nearly 10 kilos. Like, you're going 84 to 93 and a half, and then heavyweight's unlimited. And to say like I could do all three of them and smash everybody in all three of them fucking divisions in Europe's biggest promotion, that's pretty fucking incredible. So like, I'm here to do incredible shit. Like, and that's kind of the thought of doing that motivates the fuck out of me. But it's whether like I'm not going to go and lose all that weight for fucking not, not being the
Yeah.
triple champ, if you know what I mean. So we'll see. We'll see what comes up after. If they offer me the chance to do it and it's the right circumstances, yeah, I'd love to do it.
Nice. Yeah. Now you're fighting Lazar to Dev. I think that's how you
Yeah.
say it. How do you see that fight playing out in your mind when you visualize it?
It's a tough fight, man. Like I think he's very underrated. Like his overall record's 11-6, but in his last 10 fights, he's 9-1. And I think like if you saw a guy coming up a heavyweight with a 9-1 record, you'd be like, oh shit, that guy's good. But he's gone through a load of adversity and a load of learning, and now he's gone 9-1 in his last 10. That's a dangerous guy. And I see him as that. Like I see him as somebody like everyone's like, you've the beating of this guy. Man, you want to have your fucking game day showing up that day to go in and beat him. Like he's very tidy striker, doesn't do a lot of things wrong, good takedown defense. I have a plan. Like I've been working certain things for the last like 3 or 4 weeks of just like making it like I think he's a really good kickboxer and I'm a very good MMA fighter. It's like, mate, we're not in a fucking kickboxing match now, you know? And like making it that. And that doesn't mean grinding on the cunt, but like introducing the right movements at the right times. So I don't see him as somebody I can overlook at all, or that it's going to be in any way easy fight. I think like out of all the challenges I could have taken on, this guy's the toughest, and I'm excited about that. Like genuinely, I want that challenge, but it's definitely not an easy fight. I do see myself though just having a bit too much experience and a bit too much skill for the guy. Like,
Yeah. Do you think he presents anything new that you haven't seen before?
yeah, like he has a lovely 1-1-2, and he goes in and out quite well, and like he's quite loose for a heavyweight. So a lot of the guys I would have fought, like at light heavy, they would have been even a little bit less mobile than him. Like he moves better than most of the light heavyweights I've fought, to be honest. Because we like, look, we're both basically big light heavyweights not doing a cut in this fight, is the way I'd see it. Like, but he's beaten a lot of legit heavyweights, and I feel like if you put me in there with a 120 kilo guy, it'd be easier than taking on Tadev. He's going to move better. He's going to present more challenges. With a 120 kilo guy, I know how to wear that guy out. And it's like, yeah, of course he's dangerous. He's huge, but like, it's kind of like making a bear do a dance. You can get him to dance, and then you can fuck him up after. Like with Tadev, it's going to be like, no, no, you're going to have your periods of movement, and I'm going to have my periods where I have to like do the right things to get that away.
Yeah.
To capitalize on what you're doing. Um, like, sorry, what was the question exactly?
Let me fucking bring it up again. I said, gotta find it now. I said, do you think he presents anything new that you haven't seen before?
Yeah, I do. I think like he moves very well for a very big guy. And I spar with guys like that, but I haven't fought a guy like that yet. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Now I want to talk about your gym a little bit as well. You train at SBG Island.
I
What's it
do.
like training there?
Yeah, it's been great. Like, look, I've been there for about 7, 8 years now, and I travel around a little bit. Like, so I went to Extreme a few times, and I've been over to Renegade in Birmingham a bit. But no, it's my main place, and that's where I am like 80, 90% of the time. So it's been great. Like Carl Moore is back now. Carl Moore, who fought for the Bellator light heavyweight title in his last fight, and for a good few, like for about 5 years there, it was me, Carl, and Johnny Walker. So that was a great group of lads to train with. And then for like most of the last year, it was just me and Johnny. And then Johnny left in December. So for a while, it was just me, which sucked. Well, we had another guy, Kieran Smullen, who was coming up as well, who's good. Like he's only an amateur, but he's good. He's very nice hands. But then Carl came back, thank fuck, about 3 weeks ago. So I have my main part, like my main training and sparring partner back, thank God. But overall, man, it's a good gym, and like I love being there. I just love being based in Ireland. It means a lot to me, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you think there's any fighters in that gym that really stand out at you that people should be keeping an eye on? Maybe like an amateur or someone
There's
who's up and
loads of
coming.
like, so look, there's a bunch of amateur lads who are coming up that are going off to the worlds this year. Like, there's a guy, Malik, and I can't actually pronounce his surname. It's fucking, but he's like Chechnyan young lad originally. He's very good. Like, I watch him fight and I watch him grapple, and I just like, he can fuck me up in jits, and he's only 75, 80 kilo. Like, and we had a guy, Muhammad Afterhanoff, he beat J Rod in a grappling match in Polaris there back in September last year. He's class as well, but he's more focused on pure jiu-jitsu now. There's a young lad, Ryan Dunn, coming up as well. We've like, to be honest, there's a huge team of amateurs in there that are all really talented. They kind of like, if I went back and watched any of my amateur fights, they make you feel like shit because they're so much better than I was when I was an amateur. They have so much more of a base of skill. Like we were just tough fuckers getting in there and beating the shit out of each other, whereas they're training the right stuff early on in their careers. They're getting a lot better, a lot younger. And to me, it's like, whoa, these guys are really going to surpass what we've been able to do technically, which is class. It's amazing. Like, so I think there's a lot of young lads that are going to do very well out of there and all over. Look, I'm sure in every other gym in the country, there's a bunch of young lads that are class as well. And it's great to see. I think, like, overall, the scene and the sport is in a good place now in Ireland. It's more just, we're still not fucking recognised as a sport by our government, which is shit. Um, and that's something I kind of feel like maybe guys like myself have to pave the way for a little bit. And I feel like that's my part of my purpose now is like going out and representing the sport well, and showing that like, okay, we have a base of Irish fighters, we're fucking talented, and there's like, you know there's a lot of high level guys in this country, and we need there to be something like okay, obviously prize fighting, the reward is going to be financial. But as a young lad coming in and training in a gym, like to represent your country and to go out and have that supported by the state would be class. So that's something that we kind of need to rectify a bit, you know.
Do you see yourself campaigning to the MPs and the government to get it recognized as a sport anytime soon?
Yeah, like look, we call them TDs here, like, but it like I've been told for years that recognition, you know, that the sport will be recognized in a year or two or a year or two. And I keep hearing this of like, oh, it's not, it's coming, it'll be soon, but it hasn't happened. So, you know, I know that there was a guy, Chris Andrews, who's a Sinn Féin TD for Dublin, who was trying to get it on board, who was trying to get like a bill in to recognise MMA as a sport. But it's, you know, it's still, it's a quagmire, this whole thing. Like, you know, it seems like every time something's about to happen, it just doesn't quite happen. Um, so look, maybe I'm not the best, like, I kind of think like my job is just going out and represent the sport well and then highlighting the fact that we're not recognized as a sport still and just drawing attention to that is as much as I can do, really. Like,
Yeah. Who would you say gave you the toughest fight of your professional career? It could be a win or a loss.
Norbert Noveni. So he beat me in Detroit Arena in front of 10,000 of my own fans back in 2019. And that was definitely like, from an emotional point of view, it was the toughest loss. But also, like, from a technique, from a fight point of view, he exposed me, as in, like, I thought I was a really good fighter going into that. And look, like, it was kind of, he picked me apart with one, like, really solid overhand. But then throughout the rest of the fight, I didn't really like he beat. I was essentially knocked out with that punch, but like stay going. So I managed to make it to a decision, but I was kind of fucked at that stage. I showed a lot of heart. I showed a lot of like, you know, gut and willpower and power through, and like I was really still trying to win that fight all the time. A bit like Carlos in that fight, but it showed me like, look, man, you've got to have actual answers, and you've got to like be in a place where that shit isn't happening in the first place. So that, like, as much as it was a shit experience and it was the hardest fight I've ever had, I think it's probably benefited my career the most long term. I definitely wouldn't be anywhere near as good a fighter now if that hadn't happened to me.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you'd like to rematch from your past that you think would be a great fight nowadays?
I see,
Probably him.
it's like, so the first guy to beat me was this guy, Alan Amandowski. It was my first fight with Bellator. And I was being massively hyped going into that because I was undefeated at amateur for a good while. And then I was 4-0 as a pro. So I was like 11 fights unbeaten. And they were like, Bellator were kind of hyping me up a little bit, and it was all this coming in. And he was 6-0 with 6 knockouts. But I just felt like I was kind of like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy. I was a bit complacent. And he caught me with a good right hook early in the round. Like he just landed and he knocked me clean out. Like um and he's been putting up the video of that. Like it's like 7 years ago nearly that now. And he put up this video like 4 or 5 times recently. And he keeps tagging me in it. And I was like, yeah, mate, I'll fight you. Don't worry. Like, you know, if you want to get signed and fight me again, that's cool. We can do that. So he's kind of just trying to piss me. Like, I don't dislike the guy. I don't think he's a bad dude or anything like that. But it's like, you're going to keep fucking posting this clip. I know I can knock the shit out of you. I was a better fighter than you 7 years ago. You just caught me, you cunt. I'm still a way better fighter than you now. So come on. Like, you want to do it, we can fucking do it. He's one that I wouldn't mind rematching.
Do you know what promotion he's on?
He hasn't been signed with anybody for a while, so I think his last fight was in the UFC, and he got beaten and he got caught then, but he hasn't fought in about 2.5 years since then.
Oh,
So he's obviously planning, like, I assume he's tagging me because he's planning on coming back, and he thinks like there's a nice easy, like, you know, a big one to get back with. So fuck it, I'll give it to you. I'd love to smash you, like, you know.
I have to get on Oktagon about him.
Yeah, well, I like because he tagged Octagon in the first one as well. So I replied tagging Octagon too, being like, "Yeah, mate, no bother. If you want to get smashed, I'll do it." Like, so
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the GFL? I've noticed this became quite controversial with them signing a lot of retired fighters who might not be in the best shape to fight.
Yeah, I got offered a contract by them lads, and like I saw the figures in the contract, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And then I looked into them a little bit, and I was like, ah, yeah, no, that's what I thought. It's too good to be true. So look, like I hope it's real from every, you know, anybody who signed with them. I really hope it all works out beautifully and like more competition. amongst promotions is a good thing for everybody, right? I don't see where they're going to generate the money to be able to pay the sort of figures they're talking about. And even I watched the guy's interview on our little Wani, and it just seems like they don't even really have a plan for how they're going to generate the money. And you're just like, well, mate, that's not how it works. Like, look at what Octagon are doing. They've fucking loads of different ways of making a few quid, and like, brilliant, fair play to them, because it means that like they'll be doing a lot of events next year. They'll be doing a lot of events the year after that. They're professional, well funded, well sorted. Like the arena in Stuttgart's nearly sold out already. That's class. That's like, I'm an Irish guy fighting in Stuttgart. I didn't sell that card. I'm part of it. Like I'm fucking a high quality fighter, whatever. But they're good at what they do. They're promoters and they promote the event well. They promote the show well. They make it a good experience for the fans. Like that takes a while. It takes a while for people to buy into that and trust that. And in the meantime, you've got to have a lot of revenue. I don't see how the GFL are going to do that in any way, shape, or form. But I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. So, what do you think of another fighter that's training Ireland, Shem Rock, rising Octagon star? Do you think
Yeah.
he will fight in the UFC anytime soon?
I don't know, but like I think he's got a tough fight coming up against Omel Ali or Eskiev. What the fuck? Lomali Eskiev is your man's name. He's number 3 in the lightweight division now. And I watched his last fight. He fought like kind of a Hispanic lad, but like it was a good, tough fight. They were both and like he's solid. He's good hands, that guy Eskiev. And I think it's gonna be like it's a hard fight for Shem's style. Like Shem's class, obviously, but I'm just like, if you want to grapple with that guy, he's kind of hard. It's like if I wanted to just grapple with Carlos, it's
Yeah.
hard for a taller man to get in under a guy like that and make it just a jiu-jitsu match. If he's coming in to try and take you down, okay, now you can like counter that. But as far as I can see, and I haven't watched a ton of your man's fights, he's got quite solid hands and he throws with power. And if you're trying to enter a grappling situation with that guy, you're giving him opportunities to counter you. So I think it's one where Shem needs to be very sharp, but like I've no doubt he can do it. It's more like there's a risk in that fight and you can see it. So it's a good fight, like, and I think like his focus on, I'm sure it is. But for now, that's the fucking focus. Win that fight. And then look, he's young, he's got a great record. Things like the UFC and all that will come.
If you had put money on it, who would you say wins?
I'd say Shem, to be honest. Like, look, it's more that you got to negate that danger. You got to be respectful of the fact, like, time your entries, know what way you're going to get in, know how you're going to get to that guy's hips and take the back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you're casual about that, fuck, he'll end you. And just the way that guy throws, you can't afford to get hit 1 or 2 times. Like, he's tidy with his hands and he's got his hips in them shots.
Yeah. All right. Now I've just got some quick ones before I let you go.
Cool, yeah.
So, favorite post fight meal?
Oh, fucking anything custardy. Like, I love custard. Fucking, yeah, like ice cream and custard would be, and I know it's random as fuck, but I just like milky shit, basically.
Fair enough. One fighter that inspires you?
Um, Darren Elkins.
Favorite submission to practice?
Oh, Peruvian necktie.
Who is the GOAT?
Fuck. It is hard to say, like, yeah, I think you can't really go against John Jones. And even like right now, I think Tom Aspinall will beat John Jones if they fought each other tomorrow. But I think as a whole body of work,
Yeah.
and you go back and you watch John Jones' early fights, you go, fuck, he was incredible. Like,
Yeah.
he
Even if,
was like early in his career, even before he was champ, the way he was dismantling guys and just destroying them. And some of the Greco, like, some of the wrestling he had very early in his career was class. And the way he was chaining it into like big elbows and mad stuff that he was doing, but it was beautiful to watch. So, like, yeah, it's hard to deny that he's probably the best ever.
yeah. And finally, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Who wins and how?
I think Pereira. I honestly think Ankalaev's a little bit overrated. Now, I wouldn't be putting huge money on it, and I see
Yeah.
that the odds are very even. I was actually surprised the odds are so even. I do like. I've watched a lot of Ankalaev, and I think the guy, you know, his striking is not the level it should be. He's not a bad striker. but I would expect someone like Pereira to pick him apart. It's just if he can get that takedown, secure position, I'd sit on him a little bit. But that hasn't been his style throughout his career, really. And he's
Yeah.
looked a little bit vulnerable a few times in the grappling exchanges, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, but I'd be back in Pereira.
All right, nice. Well, thank you for your time, mate. I appreciate
Cheers.
it.
Thanks very much.
All right, I'll catch you later.